Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to episode 6 of the 2300 Pod. Nate Maxon here with you, along with my brother Aaron.
Hey.
And, of course, ECW's Chad Austin is with us. How's it going out there tonight, guys?
Going good, man.
Just found out the horrible news, yet predictable news today that WWE canceled Raw Underground, so that's history.
What? Cancel it or put it on hold?
No, they've officially. The story that I saw, I think it was from Body Slam, said that they've officially canceled it. So that whole thing must have just been a 6-week debut vignette for Dabba-Kato. I don't know, but
well, it wasn't a good one.
No, it was not good at all.
It didn't pay off.
And then also, just one other thing I wanted to cover. I'm sure everybody's thoughts and positive vibes are going out to ECW alumnus, of course, and great professional wrestling legend Tracy Smothers, who apparently is back in the hospital. Just saw that before we started recording here. He has the non-Hodgkin's lymphoma tumor on his left side of his stomach and on his lung and left lung in his back. So hopefully, I don't know. It doesn't sound good, but thoughts and positive vibes going out to Tracy Smothers.
Yeah,
Aaron and I got to meet him before. Did you ever work with him, Chad?
No, but I've been on maybe 12, 14 shows that he was on, and that's not including ECW. It's just like independent shows. Yeah, great guy, and he's humongous.
Yeah, he is.
Like
he
he's way bigger than everybody thinks he is. So then it tells you how big the guys were in the early and mid '80s that he worked in, like Mid-South. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And all these territories. Like, goddamn, Tracy's a monster.
Yeah.
In today's world.
I remember the first time I ever saw him in person. That's funny that you said that. The first thought I had was, that dude has big fucking hands.
Yeah. Everything was big. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he was just a big dude. And but yet on Mid-South TV, he's wrestling Lord Humongous, and you're like, oh, he's going to kill this guy. You know? And then you realize that, no, Tracy ain't much smaller than him in reality. Right. It was perception.
Well, when I met him, it was at an autograph signing, and he was stoned off his ass. And
no, I'm telling you, no way, that's true.
I think he was, man.
I ain't buying that for a second.
I'm not knocking it. I just think he was.
I think Chad's being facetious anyway.
And he said, "What's your name?" I said, "Aaron." He was like, "Nice to meet you, Adam." And then he signed my card correctly. And then I said, I'll get an 8x10. And then he said, Tracy Smothers. Well, like, to my buddy Eric. Well wishes, Tracy Smothers. Like 3 different names in the course of 5 minutes, and it was fucking fantastic.
You're like Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
I've always heard about he is somebody that you don't want to mess with.
Oh yeah, I've heard that too.
I mean, I think Cornette spoke about it, you know, probably at length, you know, multiple times. And I just remember, not that he did anything. It was just like everybody just knew, don't fuck with Tracy, man. You know, because he's like a dirty fighter, is what his reputation was. But back in the day, there was no dirty fighting.
It was just fighting, yeah.
Fighting. You know what I mean? In them days, yeah. But Godspeed to Tracy. What a great guy, man.
Anything else we want to discuss before we dig into this week's show?
I don't know. I just hope that whatever this debacle of a draft was, that they can make, you know, chicken salad. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for some reason, I heard about what's happening to Andrade, and that's fine. But what about Mickie James? Them two got undrafted. And apparently, I guess Andrade is going to NXT after he gets a surgery. But why isn't Mickie James going to NXT?
Right. Well, and yeah,
not even as an on-screen talent, just as a trainer.
As a trainer, yeah. What
yeah, Mickie James, man. She came up from Baltimore. She's one of our girls, man, up here.
And she'd be a great trainer, an absolute great trainer.
She is a great trainer because she was trained by a great bunch of people. And that's not, I ain't even put my name in that because I didn't train her at all. I just knew that she went to our school.
And so I didn't even know about Andrade that happened. So,
well, he's taking time off to get some sort of jabroni elective surgery thing. Like, it's not like he needs to have it done. He's just going to, he's getting it done. So he's taking a couple of months off.
In common?
What's that?
So him and his wife got some in common. Isn't he married to Charlotte?
Well, that was a joke that I wasn't going to make because I think I made it the privacy of my own home. I think he's going to add it on. Yeah, and then he said that either he's going to come back on one of the two brands with a push, but the original plan was for him to go to NXT, which is not bad,
Yeah. All right. So we're at May 11th, 1993 on this week's show. And I put down, we are in the mecca of professional wrestling, Cabrini College. Once
Jesus
again.
Christ.
I mean, was there a show that we have done that wasn't there?
I don't think so.
No,
I think they've all been there. So it has to be two tapings. There's no way. There's no
tell
way
me
this is
that
the same taping.
I think they did two tapings there, because in this one they have like guardrails on this one, and they didn't have guardrails on the other one.
See, I never noticed that. Yeah, I mean,
they have red guardrails on it, so I think they did two tapings at this as a dump.
I about shit when I heard Jay Sully with the one eye or whatever say that we're back at the Cabrini College, and I was like, you got to be kidding me, dude! Like, did Eddie Gilbert just run an all-day show? And just tape everything and put it all together. But yeah, I mean, I was shocked at that point. I just thought maybe they taped like 8 weeks. I mean, at that point, I really thought that.
And Sully looks especially like he's being held hostage at the beginning of this show. The guy always looks like he's being held at gunpoint. Somebody's got pictures of something.
Jay Sully's just there because he doesn't want to make the news.
Aaron,
I had to watch this.
Well, I mean, the reason I had the dramatic pause was Aaron's usually got a Sully joke right here.
Well, no, I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, thank God, the reign of Stevie Wonderful is over. But he shows up a little bit, and I was like, oh man, like I thought he was done. I was like, oh no,
I actually think this is the beginning of the end of Stevie Wonderful, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, we'll find out, but I think Paulie did it like one or two other times, or if it wasn't Paulie, it may have been Gilbert. Mm-hmm. Just to make him disappear,
Yeah, just gradually write him out of the show. Him and
that's not a bad hair. That's not a bad thing, Mm-hmm. I mean, they didn't just have him get in the ring and somebody murder him.
Well, I was going to say 3 years after this, he would have gotten a total elimination, and that would have been the end of Stevie Wonder.
Or 911 would choke slam him or something.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's probably because didn't you guys tell me that he's not really even in the business?
Yeah, he was just the music guy for ECW.
Yeah, that's probably just him just getting rid of. Yeah, but I even wrote it down in my book that I just said that I think that it's about time. I think we're starting to see when Stevie Wonderful's getting ready to take a hike.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Aaron.
I don't really have anything else on Stevie Wonderful. I thought we were moving on.
Pretty much.
the only other thing that I have about this opening is I love that the world champion is in a match, and we're going to see it if time permits.
Yeah, and let's spend a lot of time hyping this match that you might not see.
Yeah, and how many people were hoping there wasn't going to be enough time permitting? Like, please, can this lady winners and match go longer? Because I don't want to see this mixed tag. Oh, you're kidding me. Did you hear the comment that Paul made about Ted and Jane when he was talking about the chain massacre match? They called it like 3 different matches. I think at once they called it the Texas Death Match, then it was a Texas Chain Match, and then Terry Funk said it was a Texas Massacre Match. It's like, I did whatever. But when he said, "Yeah, ask Ted and Jane about my lawyers," I thought that was funny because that was right after Paul just settled that shit.
And Todd Gordon says that he tells Jay Sully, "Exciting news! I just signed this Texas chain match, which Terry Funk announced last week."
yeah,
and then
pretty much.
Paulie comes out and says, "This match isn't going to happen. I'm going to put my lawyers on it." And Gordon's like, "No, Paulie, dangerously. I signed this match weeks ago." It's like, when did this fucking match get signed? Like,
pretty much.
Christ. It's all over the goddamn thing.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
was it last week? Was it this week? Was it 2 weeks ago?
They signed it in WCW in '89.
They've been in this Cabrini College so long, they feel like everything's just rolling together. They have no fucking idea. Like, they haven't let us out of here in a month. I have no idea what's going on.
I mean,
is it Tuesday? Is it Wednesday? Daytime, nighttime.
I was gonna say they were in the bubble. They were in the bubble long before the pandemic.
And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the chain match had already happened.
making it even better.
Yeah, I think it was already taped by this point. If I'm not mistaken, or they may have had another one. What after? But I remember there being a chain match, and I'm going, wait a minute, I went to that. But I was working at ECW when they had like the other one or whatever, or you know what I mean. But I'm like, wait a minute, they must have had a couple of these Texas chain match massacres.
I love that name. I love that name.
This thing's all over the goddamn place.
And speaking of Funk, when they showed that video of Funk driving the fucking front loader gimmick again, do you think that Funk might drive that thing like to the store?
I could, if anybody's gonna do it, it's Terry Funk.
That's exactly why I said it, because I was thinking, like, imagine all the groceries you can put in the front of that thing, or if you go to the liquor store, all the beer,
see him
all the stuff.
Yeah, see him driving down the road with his groceries, doing that laugh.
Yeah, nobody's gonna say shit.
I'm putting the arm up like this, but meaning like, go around me.
Around me. Like, what is anybody gonna say? that to me was like I didn't understand a word that he said because I just couldn't understand the fact that he had so much property, and I'm just like, you just drive this little thing everywhere you go, and where you have a gas pump? You gotta have your own gas.
And he said when he's on the farm, he deals with chickens and horses and pigs and perverts.
Speaking of perverts,
yeah, the real hot stuff.
Yeah, it's Eddie Gilbert's brother,
who apparently is a real dummy.
So apparently Doug is a big dummy pervert.
I thought it was awful, but I laughed.
Me too.
And the main reason why I laughed is because I totally forgot about it. But then when I first saw the guy walk up, and when Terry cut his promo, I literally thought, oh my God, they did another angle with John Gillum. Do you know the John Gillum story?
No.
John Gillum is a not, I wouldn't say a special needs guy, but he's a little bit on the slower side of the spectrum or whatever. And him and Eddie were great friends. Mm-hmm. And he would use John Gillum in all these different angles. And John Gillum wasn't a worker. He was just Eddie's buddy. So Eddie would go out of his way to embarrass him. No, literally, this is the payoff. Go out of his way to embarrass him, but at the end of the day, John Gillum would be the one that went over. Like, go back and look at Continental from when Gilbert booked in Continental. I want to say 89, maybe. Mm-hmm. When he did the deal where he was challenging anybody from the audience $10,000 if he can't beat him. And this guy comes up and he gets in the ring and he goes, "What's your name?" And then he goes, "John Gillum." And Gilbert goes, "John Gillum," and he pretends like he don't know him, but they're like best friends. So he used him in a bunch of angles. And when he walked up on that tractor, and then I saw him, I was like, "Oh my God, he's using John Gillum again." That was great though, because John got it. You know what I mean? It wasn't an insult to him or anything. John liked being part of it, but it just made so much money for the time period that he used it that Eddie took it on the road with him. He took it like everywhere he booked. But to me, Continental was the best because he didn't have any gear. John Gillum. He was kind of like a Fred the Elephant Boy or who's the dude on Trailer Park Boys with the glasses? Bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of like him. So he didn't have any wrestling gear, and he had to wrestle Eddie Gilbert one night as Mr. Florida or something, Mr. Continental. So he borrowed gear from everybody in the locker room and came out, and Eddie kind of was it's just a great angle. And Gillum ended up knocking out Gilbert and beating him, blah, 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 with Idol's help and all that nonsense. But it's just one of them angles where you just can't help it. Like, well, this is fucking fantastic. This is like, why? He's drawing fucking money with a handicap dude.
It's fantastic. That is fantastic. Like, I have never seen any of that. I'm looking for that stuff now.
I have it. I'm pretty sure I have as much Continental that's out there. I'm pretty sure I have. If there's not a whole lot that I don't have, put it that way. If there's much of it, that's my favorite territory. I get asked a bunch of times about if I was on a deserted island and I could only watch one territory. After I thought about it, the real answer would be the WWE Network because it has everybody.
Yeah,
but I mean, if I had to pick one territory, I would say it would have to be Continental or Memphis.
Yeah,
Memphis lasted longer, but Continental I thought was just fucking unbelievable.
Mine would be Memphis. I mean, Memphis has some lows, but it has some really good highs too.
No, the lows are why I want it. I mean, I've seen Dundee and Lawler a bazillion times. I want to see Jeff Gaylord. Freezer Thompson, come on.
So go ahead, Aaron.
I was just gonna say, if we're moving on, before we move on, this segment was brutal.
Now, see,
it was rough.
I smiled, and when I was thinking about it, I was like,
smile. I'm not saying. I'm just saying this was pretty.
When
bad.
I was watching it, I was thinking the only person that could pull this off and make me not roll my eyes is Terry Funk. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree totally. I mean, that's the reason why I laughed, because it was Funk. If it would have been even maybe Dick Murdoch, but other than that, no. I couldn't see Black Bart pulling that.
Like the entire, when he slams the dummy, and then there's the entire shot of him walking around the tractor to get on the track. It's like we're gonna see every step of getting on and starting a tractor.
I don't. Yeah, he was like practicing for a CDL tractors. Like he had to give it the whole once over.
Yeah, he's got to do the 18 points. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean that was a highlight compared to what I think was coming up next, if I'm not mistaken.
We continue the heated rivalry between the Super Destroyers and the Simpsons, Stetson and Winters.
Yeah. Barton Homer.
I can't tell you how many times on this piece of paper that I wrote again.
Yeah.
It was Super D's versus Stetson and Hotbod or Winters again. And then just like, what the fuck? And at first I thought it was hair versus mask, but I didn't know. I didn't realize. No, but see, I think at one point, and I hope we get to it because I'm not 100% positive, but I think at one point the Super Destroyers lose their masks. And when they take them off and they do the big reveal, the crowd goes, huh?
Yeah, who's that guy?
Yeah, I totally think they did that.
It turns out Super Destroyer number 1 is Super Destroyer number 1 without a mask.
Yeah. Yes. Hey, that guy changed my oil.
But Stevie Wonderful says the only logical thing this fucker has ever said in his entire life in the wrestling business. He goes, what does Tommy Cairo have to do with any of this?
Yeah.
It's the logic from Stevie Wonder. When Stevie Wonderful's the most logical person involved in the segment, you got a fucking problem.
Yeah, Stevie Wonder, not even a guy in the business, and he's looking for a way to make it make sense. and he doesn't even know why he wants it to make sense.
Yeah, he's just like, what does this guy have to do with anything?
Because of that leather jacket.
And I think Sully's something like he's being the police or something to that effect.
It's stupid.
I mean, again, I know I've talked about Tommy before. I don't know if it was on this show or the other one, but I really, really, really like Tommy, and I really thought highly of him. I thought highly of the guy. He was such a great guy. But Tommy was a guy that, like, I respected because I thought there was something there.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
dude, I'm not knocking Tommy. I just don't understand. Like, it's out of left field when they put him in here. Like, he had nothing to do with any of this feud.
That's the problem. Yeah, I agree. Right? I'm just like, why Tommy? Right?
Yeah.
And then when he started getting like not pushed and stuff, and I'm just like, you know, his biggest deal is, and I'll say this about almost every single one of them Philadelphia guys. If there were to, in that time period, if there would have been more shows for these guys to work on, all them guys would be way better workers.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're fundamentally not awful. You know, they know what they have to do. They just don't know why they're doing it.
They're all just working with each other, basically.
Yeah, and they're not getting any better. And because there's nobody teaching them psychology, all they know is what they learn in a jabroni wrestling school.
Yeah.
And I don't mean jabroni in a bad way. It's just like, yeah, they're all just wrestling each other. So if they got more reps and can work more day, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like it's like everybody nowadays in the WWE.
Yeah, that's why everything's so similar because, you know, it's just, I don't know. I totally see your point though. The couple notes I had here. First time I've seen Hat Guy. He's not wearing the straw hat during this match, but he is there. He looks like he's wearing a MAGA hat, but that's way too soon for that.
Oh yeah, right. He did look like he was wearing one of them.
Had the trucker.
That was
cap.
pretty funny.
And
I didn't even write that down, but it caught my eye.
I also have here, Jay Sully says the Super Destroyers are two behemoths.
What?
Not behemoths. He says they are two behemoths.
Oh,
like,
did
what
he?
the fuck is a behemoth? I had to figure it out. I was like, oh, I think he meant behemoths. And also,
yeah.
also
No, I must have missed that. I must have sneezed.
Also, he says Tony Stetson is some kind of high. Like, I don't know if that was a catchphrase he had, you know, at the gimmick table or what. But three things I noticed. I think I have more notes on this match than any human.
You paid more attention to this thing than I did.
Yeah, clearly, because I'm still
Good
trying
job,
to find
buddy.
it on my notebook where I even talked about it at all.
Way to put in the work, man.
Yeah, I know.
I wasn't gonna do it.
It don't take much to entertain you.
Rest of the show's up to you guys.
Dude, Tony Stetson, I was completely disappointed in Tony Stetson. I don't want to say it was the hot tag, but it was getting towards the finish. He came in and he threw some punches that you would see like on a sitcom, like version of somebody doing a pro wrestling spoof. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they just look so bad. Like the foot stomp and it's the forearm and it's not hitting anybody, you know. And I just made a note about it that Tony Stetson is way better than that. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether he was just intimidated or he worked 15 times that day,
or maybe that's why Sully said he's some kind of high. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, I was completely disappointed in how that ended. I mean, all them punches, and they had some awful bad brawling. Mm-hmm. I don't like that brawling was so bad. I don't even know like if anybody instructed them or anybody kind of like coached them on how to do it because it was just nothing. It was some of the worst. It was like the Bushwhackers, like brawling with like the Body Donnas or something.
Now, did it look like the ringside area was small? Like not the ringside area, but the area around the ring was small. Like, could that have affected that, or was it just their poor work?
Honestly, I would say it was. I don't even want to bury them by saying it was their poor work, because I don't agree in that.
Mm-hmm.
I just think there wasn't any level of standard.
Right.
Maybe nobody taught them how to do it, or
Mm-hmm.
guided them. But yeah, it was just bad. I mean, and I like everybody in there. I don't know Larry, and I don't know Larry Winters at all. But I've wrestled with Tony, and I've met Doug, and I know AJ. All great guys, but yeah, that was just bad because they probably just didn't know any better.
And the cane shot at the end was kind of lame.
Mm-hmm.
This whole thing was just snake bit. I think it was just bad.
Yeah, it was.
But in the end, the Simpsons are your new tag team champions of ECW.
Great. I mean, look at all the list of people that are gunning for them. Eddie Gilbert and Jimmy Snuka. Oh,
Jimmy Snuka and Don Morocco. Don Morocco and Eddie Gilbert.
Yeah. Because there's no chance, and I don't even remember, so I'm not even pretending like I'm foreshadowing, but I don't even remember. But there's no chance that Larry Winters and Tony Stetson hold these belts long.
It can't be.
Fuck no, that ain't happening.
Unless we're
they might not even get out of the Cabrini College.
I don't remember. I don't remember either, honestly, unless we're headed to maybe Suicide Suicide Blondes getting the titles.
I don't think so, because I think Candido leaves.
Yeah, he bounces. I think he goes to Smoky Mountain, doesn't he?
Oh, I don't know about where he went, but I don't think Candido was there anywhere near long enough that Eddie or Paul probably had wished or hoped for.
So we will find out in weeks to come. All right, so we got Paulie in the ring. I think we elaborated on that tag title match much longer than it deserved. Paulie's in the ring. We have a tag match between
what Jimmy Snuka and Eddie Gilbert?
Snuka and Gilbert against JT Smith and the
Max Thrasher.
Max Thrasher. What the fuck?
I know nothing about Max Thrasher.
See, I knew you guys were going to know nothing about Max Thrasher.
That's why I knew you might know some about him. So that's why.
Well, you know what? Do you know why that Max Thrasher is in that match right now?
No.
It's because he owns that ring they're wrestling in. So that's part of the deal. Like Max lives right across the Pennsylvania line in Maryland, which I'm only about maybe an hour away from to get into southern Pennsylvania. And Max ain't far from there, and he used to run a wrestling school. Seriously, I'm not making this up. Right? He ran a wrestling school, and on his commercial, you could hear his Baltimore accent. It's terrible. I mean, I don't know how bad my accent is, but his accent from Baltimore is terrible. And the real name is Phil Livelsberger. and he's like, if you ever dreamed of being a pro wrestler, call this number and ask for Phil Livelsberger. And who the fuck is? What the fuck? And but
why
Max,
would you call yourself Max Thrasher?
Yeah, of course. I would at least think I'm getting better training from a guy named Max Thrasher.
I was gonna say, even if you said ask for Max.
Yeah. I mean, no, I want to get trained by Phil Livelsberger. What, in pro wrestling? No, I'm trying to open a deli. But that's his ring. Like, he bought that ring when that ring was in prime shape. That is one of my top 5 best rings I've ever been in. And he basically made his money. I wouldn't say off the wrestling school. I think he made his money just off doing ring rentals. Oh my God, it was a sweet bump. But the problem was it was so much steel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like my other favorite rings to work in are the old WCW rings because they're all wood. This ring is a lot of steel and it has to have a spring, but for some reason it was just very, very bouncy. And I love working in that ring. It was just a hair too small. It was probably an 18, I guess. But that's a great ring. But yeah, Max Thrasher's. I worked on the tonnage of him. He's a great guy. I have no idea even if he's still with us or not. I wouldn't even know.
So he was obviously probably just an East Coast guy, because other than this stuff, I never even heard of him, to be honest with you.
No, he didn't do. He was basically on his way out when I was breaking in.
Trainer of the Stars, Phil Lofsenberg.
Oh, you know what? Speaking of Trainer of the Stars, you wait till we get later on in the show. I'll tell you one of the guys he trained later on in the show, and then you be the judge.
Well, Paulie becomes my hero because he tells Stevie Wonderful to go watch the 9 monitors and tell me what's what, and asks Jay Sully, "What the hell is your name?" And then he tells him, and he goes, "Stick around. I might let you live."
Yep. He asked him if his name was Gordon Sully.
Yeah.
That was pretty clever.
I wrote down just watching the show after Paulie sits down, it's such a difference. Even with Sully there, it's such a difference in the soundtrack of the show. Like, he brings so much more. Just he just puts lipstick on the pig and on the whole rest of the match, really.
Yeah, but unfortunately, and I don't think it's Paulie's fault. He's just throwing everything out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's every insult that he knows. You know, I don't mean it in a bad way, but he's not like really building to a story. He's just insult. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's just trying to get over. Just throw everything out there. And hey, fuck! If I got the TV time, I'm going to do whatever I can do to get over.
Yes.
But wait a minute now. Isn't there a promo about to happen?
There's a Balombo promo.
That would make some like certain organizations like want to put a PSA about.
Yeah. Wild man Sal Balomo comes off as a pedophile. I'm just gonna say it.
There's a certain. I was wondering if I could even mention a certain video company. There's no chance I'm doing that. I think I've already dealt with his lawyers before, so.
He probably did a couple shoots with him.
Yeah, no, but it just I'm listening to the promo and like literally I kind of was like kind of not staring at it, kind of looking around, and then when I heard, I love the kids, and I look up and I look at him, I was like, God damn. This fucking guy probably does love the kids.
I hate everybody, but I love the kids.
Yeah. I don't like adults.
Everybody.
I don't like adults. I don't want nothing to do with them. I want to take their kids.
I can't believe he didn't say like he hated Jews, blacks, Muslims, Chinese, like everybody else. But no, the kids.
I'm going to take your kids.
Oh my God! I about shit when I heard that promo.
He's the most extreme ever. Like
good thing half of what he says is unintelligible, or God knows what else.
Except you don't know anything about the guy or what he's saying, except for he loves
kids.
Loves
his like interview can be interpreted in however you want it to be, as long as you hear that he loves the kids. So everything else could just be whatever you what. You know, you did what with the kids? You know, I think I heard the word roller coaster. You know what I mean, or whatever.
I think you did. Yeah, I hate roller coasters unless they got kids.
But I love the kids. Well, I told you guys probably on the first or one of the first 2 shows or whatever that Sal, when he got out of the business, he opened up that little woodworking shop and he made like toys for the kids.
He's Geppetto. It's.
Yeah, dude, I mean, I wonder what was going on in the back of that.
He's not Geppetto, he's the pedo.
That's a good
one. God rest his soul. All right. And now I just wrote Balomo versus Canadian Wolfman. Oof.
Fucking why is what I wrote. Why is this match on here?
Remember I talked about how Max Thrasher had a wrestling school?
Oh,
did he train the Wolfman?
The worm has turned.
The Wolfman was also there because of the ring rental. He's really the guy that put it together. Max drove the truck. Dudley is the Canadian. I would never call him that. He's the Canadian fucking nothing. He's Dudley. He like pushed the ring up, blah blah blah, and he was trained by Max Thrasher. And when I saw that they were even going to attempt to put Sal Balomo in the ring with Dudley, I cringed. I automatically wrote bad before they even did anything because I knew. I was like, this is fucking Dudley. I just was like, it was bad.
And Paulie trying to explain the great technical mastery of Sal Balomo, like through this match, just cracks me up.
Well, it's Paul Heyman. You know,
I know,
it's like Paul Heyman. If anybody's going to shine a turd, it's Paul
He's
Heyman.
trying to just talk about how...
And then at one point he tried to speak kind of highly of Dudley, the Canadian Wolfman. And I'm just, come on, Paul. I mean, even you're not a magician. Fuck. Yeah, Dudley's bad. We tried to use him. Like, that was kind of the deal. If we rented Max's or Phil Lauersberger's ring, and he would be on the show, and then Dudley would be on the show. And then it got to the point where either we didn't need his ring, or we drew enough that we could tell him, "You ain't fucking getting on this fucking show." You know what I mean? We got standards here. You're not putting Dudley out there, the Canadian Wolfman. Woo! I think there's a couple of more matches, because I do think that it has to be winding down, because I think that's the reason why Dudley and Max worked, because a lot of the guys had went home.
Mm-hmm.
Because the taping was running for like 5 hours or something like that. But yeah, I think that was how that worked. But oh my God, fucking the Sal Balomo promo with the kids and him against Dudley, that was worth fuck. They could have just replayed that and then spoke over it and talked about the highlights. Did you see? You know what I mean? They replayed it in slow motion. You could have made a whole entire hour just at how bad that match was. From different angles. And you have all these people talking about, watch this right here. This is where, oh my God.
This is where his pants almost come off his ass.
Yeah. And he's wearing red underwear. the Canadian Wolfman. He does his laundry.
Red underwear.
God,
it's all for the kids.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know if you even edited this out or not, whatever. But literally, when I had my head down and I was kind of writing stuff down, and I looked up and I saw Dudley, and then I saw the camera panned over and it was Sal Balomo. I literally was like, "You fucking gotta be kidding me!" They're not going to try to do this. There's no way. And I don't know if like Gilbert or Paulie had a bet saying, "Hey, what can we do with this Balomo guy?" And the other guy's probably saying, "What can we do with this Wolfman, Canadian Wolfman guy?" And it's just like nothing. But they aired it. That's the problem. They aired it.
And again, like I said, our world champion, we're going to play his match if we have time permitting to play his match here today. Okay. Tommy Cairo and Johnny Hotbody. I'm sorry, Jonathan Hotbody. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, this match is pretty boring. I thought this was a pretty boring match.
The Lumberjack match?
Yeah.
Which one?
The Lumberjack
I mean,
match.
the first 5 they had since we started doing them in the show? Like, again, I wrote again next to the – I mean, seriously – like, here's my problem with ECW at this time period. They really have no talent depth. There's a humongous gap between the guys that are local and the guys that are names.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nobody there to make because the guys that are names aren't guys that give a shit enough to bring the other guys up to their level.
Yeah.
They're just there for the payday. You know, they don't give a fuck about Glenn Osborne. You know, right. What he's doing, you know, whatever. And, like, they're not going to get any better if you just have them working themselves and the names aren't doing – it's just, you know. And I think at this point, I think Paulie at this point is probably starting to, you know, get his, you know, claws in. making suggestions. Because I'm pretty sure in the next few weeks, maybe a month or so, you're really going to start seeing people disappear that you might not notice at first, but we will because we're watching it, for a different purpose.
Yeah.
But that seriously, Cairo and Hot Body, they don't need to be in the ring together. Fuck.
No,
why
no.
why isn't Cairo working Morocco?
Yeah,
I mean,
or
just
Eddie,
somebody. Yeah, and then this was the big lumberjack match, right?
Yeah. Woof.
I thought it was the fans. I mean, can you count them? I bet you there wasn't 6 people out there.
No, and I put down here. First of all, the match had no heat because you didn't even build to using the lumberjacks. I think Johnny Hotbody went outside the ring like 13 seconds into the match, and they didn't play the lumberjacks the way you're supposed to play. You guys know what I'm saying? They didn't play the lumberjacks the way you're supposed to play the lumberjacks. They were just involved the entire match.
They didn't even try to get him over. Like they even say this is why we're having this.
Right.
It was just like, hey, the rest of the workers that are in the building, hey, we need you guys to go out and stand by the ring. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I see Candido out there. I see whatever. And then all of a sudden I see Chubby Dudley. I'm like, what was he sticking around for? I thought his night was over a long time ago. And literally I went, I think I even wrote down the names of all the fucking of all the lumberjacks.
Oh,
I know. Oh my god. Oh yeah. Wasn't there? Yeah. I said, what is there? Like 6 lumberjacks, and literally it was just everybody who was left that was in the building, and then it was Chubby Dudley, and then I think Tommy Cairo did one of the worst spin kicks ever. And the reason why you're not going to know whether it's one of the worst spin kicks ever,
because the dude was standing right in front of it.
That was Chubby Dudley.
Chubby Dudley's fat ass is standing right in front of the camera.
That's the only reason why I knew it was Chubby Dudley. Because as soon as Cairo hit the fucking spin kick, he turns around, walks away. I'm like, what the fuck? You ruined the whole entire botch. What the fuck? Who does that?
It was the botch of the botch.
Yeah. Like he blew it. And you want to be a Dudley boy. Yeah, and literally I just wrote, too bad Chubby Dudley's head was in all the way to see an awful spin kick. And then it was like, oh man. See, this is where I kind of freaking start to unravel. Because they after all this is all said and done, they went back to that Terry Funk promo again.
Yeah,
from the previous week.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sitting here watching it and I'm thinking like, oh, more Funk thing is great. And then when it with the whole thing again, I was like, man, like you really can't fill time better. No, I don't mean that in a bad way. You can't do anything better than fill that time. It
like
just shows something we just saw.
Like maybe show the entire main event.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not. I mean, a Funk promo was better. I don't know, but yeah, because, I don't mind the whole time permitting thing. I love that, and that's if Gilbert's booking this, that's probably one of them old TV, Georgia things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, I can see that. Like, didn't you see the other day? What was it on AEW? There was a time limit draw. When's the last time you've seen that?
Very rarely, especially nowadays. Excuse me.
Yeah, it never happens.
Yeah, never.
So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool when they do stuff like that, like just change shit up.
And speaking of said main event, the mixed tag match, the Rockin' Rebel and Tigra against the Sandman and Miss Peaches.
Well, thank God there wasn't time remaining. Fuck. Could you imagine if wrestling was real and all the other matches went like 30 seconds and we had like 32 minutes of time left for this fucking Funk Briscoe? Could you imagine? And then, like, all the other matches have ended so early that we have plenty of time.
For this one, Tiger's stupid ass stood on the fucking floor the whole match.
Yeah.
Match. I'm not even sure that the Tiger even knew that she was in the match.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I've never seen her in the locker room. I've never seen her like do anything with. I've never seen her do anything with like talking to anybody about going. I mean, I guess when Paul came in, I guess maybe she was one of the major house cleanings. And Heyman, I don't know.
Heyman's trying so hard to put her over in this match too. Like,
yeah, I don't know who she was. Like, I don't know her story. Like, I don't know who she knew, or maybe it was somebody like not even in the business related. Maybe somebody in the building related, or you know what I mean, or Todd related. You know what I mean?
Or maybe she rode around in the truck with Max Thrasher and Canadian Wolfman. Who knows?
Oh, you know what? Because wait a minute, you could be onto something. Because if you notice in the upcoming weeks, when Max Thrasher and the Canadian Wolfman are gone, you don't see Tiger anymore. I think there could be something to this.
Mystery solved.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen Max in ages, and I hope Max is doing well, but I think he was, as Jim Ross would say, on the back nine of his life when you saw him on this show.
Yeah, this is literally the only thing I think I've ever even seen him on. Including Canadian Wolfman as well. I don't think I've ever seen any other footage of that guy either. Me personally, I'm sure you have seen plenty, but
yeah, I mean, as a matter of fact, most of the intro of the ECW show, all the clips, because they were using Max's ring, that Dudley was on most of them shows, and so was Max. I mean, I'm sure that looking at rings don't mean much to you, but you don't catch a lot of things. But yeah, when all them shows, they used to be run at bars and shit like that. Yeah, Max lives like right in between Baltimore and Philly.
Okay.
Or that's where his school was. I don't know where he lives now. But yeah, so like they would rent his ring, so he would get a payday. I don't know if he got a payday from fucking wrestling. That's not my fucking deal. Because as a matter of fact, he probably did, because a lot of the shows were bought shows. So he probably would get a payday, and if he didn't get a payday for the actual work, he would get a payday because he would jack the price of the ring rental up, and so he'd make out. So yeah, that was a good deal for him back in the day. And like I said, being on the back, he never really had much of a career. I'm not even going to lie. He didn't do much, but the independence and the ring was probably the best thing to happen to him.
Hey, everybody's got an angle, right?
You're supposed to, right?
Absolutely. Well, is there anything else on this episode, guys, before we rank it and file it?
I mean, does anybody want to go first?
I will say this one. I know last week we kind of parted ways. I wasn't. I was a bigger fan of last week's show than you guys were, but this one I definitely give just a 2 out of 5. Not impressed.
I gave it a 2.5, and the reason I gave it a 2.5 is because there was like very little Stevie Wonderful, and Paulie on commentary made it palatable. Like it made it okay to listen to. So it was like Paulie was a shining gem in this fucking.
He was a diamond in the poop.
Yeah, diamond in the rough in this fucking.
Yeah, man. I mean, I hate the fact that we're all three of us are going to be on the same page, because I figured this podcast would be like we would all have different opinions about how things are. I mean, the production is still shitty. They're running out of material, so they're just recycling. They're just scrapping stuff and over. It's just they're running out of material, so they have to get out of there and do something different. So a 2, because I'm not going to do a 2.5 or a 2.25. A 2 is a 2,
right?
You know what I mean? Like they're working with what they got, and the problem is I don't think they're getting the best out of what they got.
No, not at all.
No,
like
they're
you
not.
said, it's like the show feels like a stretched rubber band at this point. Like you said, they're running out of shit to do.
Like you said, why is Morocco and why are Snuka and Gilbert working with like JT Smith and Max Thrasher? Like, why aren't they working with,
Because there is no Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, why aren't they working with like Sandman,
better quality people,
Tommy Cairo or whatever?
Hey guys,
yeah.
Please don't go crazy with that one. I mean, they're all the same. They're all the same. You're going to get the same result of all the work out of all 6 of them guys that you said are all going to be the same. And if you want to make it 8, throw in the Super Ds. I mean, the only team that has, and I don't mean that as disrespect. The only team that has an inkling of chance would be the Suicide Blondes, but you would have to get rid of fucking Johnny Hotbody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And because I don't mind I'm going my hair's blonde. I don't mind all that. That's just nonsense. But I mean, but Candido is much better of a worker and a much better of a character than Johnny. Johnny shouldn't be doing that kind of an angle. I mean, that kind of a gimmick. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got Johnny
other than that, I think the show's got it has to progress a lot faster. You can't be just giving me Larry Winters and Tony Stetson against the fucking Executioners every
week.
Seriously. I mean, and then it's Stetson and Hotbody and Rebel and, these guys are never going to fucking get over by working themselves.
Right. So as we put a pin in this week's episode of the show, I will preview, as I always do, the WWE Network preview of next week's episode, which is May 18th, 1993, for those of you watching along.
In the opening contest, it's a rematch between the Super Ds, Tony Stetson and Larry Winters.
Can't wait.
The description reads, both Tigra and Miss Peaches are barred from ringside when the Sandman defends the ECW championship against a Rockin' Rebel in the main event.
I think because Tigra has to work. She's not barred from ringside. She told Todd, she's like, look, man, I can't come in. My shit is from like 5 to like 10:30. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to tip your bartender. Tigra, everybody. Girls.
Yeah,
that's fucking nuts. All right, I can't wait for this.
Plus ECW Tag Team Champions Tony Stetson and Larry Winters face the Suicide Blondes in a non-title match. Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and Jimmy Snuka take on JT Smith and Max Thrasher and much more. Yes.
Jesus.
Apparently we're going down that road again.
Max Thrasher probably complained to the State Athletic Commission and that something was wrong. He probably altered the ring and it wasn't in compliance. and he's like, look, man, if you just give me one more chance, I'm sure me and JT can take it. And watch how much you want to bet it's the same match. They don't even do anything different. It's the same exact match.
And they were like, we're not having this match again. He was like, do you know who I am? I'm the trainer of the Stars, Phil Wassenberger.
Yeah. I'll tear this ring down right here, right now.
Get on it, Canadian Wolf.
Get on it, Wolfman.
And Dudley comes running out wearing his Max Thrasher's wrestling school shirt. And he starts taking the buckles down.
Tigra, go warm the truck up.
Yeah. We're out of here. And then Gilbert has to run out. And now all of a sudden Max Thrasher is forced into the top spot against Gilbert.
I think this would be a better show than what we watched this week.
Totally.
Tommy Cairo's just sitting on a chair, and Stevie Wonder's like, "What's Tommy Cairo got to do with that?"
He's somehow still handcuffed to Hunter T. Robbins, and it's like 10 segments later. like all their stuff is completely done, but the camera flashes over and he's still handcuffed to Hunter Ricky Robinson.
on the next edition of Incredibly Inane Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, I think we just booked a better show than what they've been doing around this time.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap up, just want to remind you, if you're listening and you're not a part of the 2300 Pod Facebook group, go ahead and join us there for all the updates about the show. Also, check out the We Can't Wrestle podcast and the We Can't Wrestle podcast Facebook group, where Aaron has a dream tag team tournament going on right now.
Yeah.
Where Chad Austin got screw job, the big screw job of 2020 on the Blackhearts.
The internet was hacked. you know what? You two clowns wait till you have the next tag team tournament, and I pick Stetson and Winners. You're all going to be fucking kissing my ass.
And that being said, guys, once again, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining me, and thank you to our listeners for joining us. Tell your friends about the 2300 Pod. We promise these shows are going to get better. I'm talking about the ECW shows, not our show. It's already pretty good, but these ECW shows are going to get better as we continue our journey. Aaron, any parting words for our listeners?
Nope, just keep listening and keep enjoying it and having a good time doing it, guys.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Chad?
Just follow me on Twitter as Chad Austin or Chad Hoover Namira. Follow me on Facebook. You'll put the links up, so no, you're fine.
Yeah, all right. We got you. All right, thank you, everybody, for joining us this week once again on the 2300 Pod, and we will see you next time around. Have a great week, wrestling fans.